Is there anyone in here tonight that is not going to allow your circumstance to keep you prisoner, that's not going to allow your situation to hold you captive, but you're decided that you are pursuing Jesus at all costs? And if you can just touch.
Remember, when God blesses you, he's got a lot more than you in mind. He blesses you to be a blessing. And when you start thinking it's all about you is where that whole thing gets mixed up. But when you understand it's not about me, it's about what I can do for others. In the process of doing for others, God blesses me. That water pipe gets wet. The blessing gets on you. It's not the purpose, but it's just part of the blessing. I'm blessed. Say, I'm blessed to be a blessing. So remember those two things, two keys. You want to live that Joshua 1:8 life, that life of good success. Remember, there's two keys right there to good success: wisdom and favor. I encourage you, I want to birth in you a desire to learn, to grow, to get wisdom. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is what you know. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is what you know.
You've got to dream dreams that are so big that God actually needs to show up. Okay, let me say it to you this way. I'm tired of praying prayers that I know how God's going to do it. If you're praying prayers and you already know God, how God's going to do it, then guess what? God doesn't really need to show up because you already figured it out. You need to pray prayers that you say, I don't know how it's going to happen. I have no idea. God, it's going to take a miracle. That's right. Because an impossible situation is an invitation for God to show up. God help me. Oh, God, help me right now. I'm tired of praying these little bitty prayers and these little bitty things as if God's a little bitty big God. I want to pray prayers that are so big. I want to get out there so far that God's going to say, my God, my son is so far out there. I better show up. I better do something for him because I'm going to back up whatever he believes me to do in his life.
I got one message. It's Jesus. And I love this because as a preacher that travels to communicate the gospel, I follow the steps of Paul. I may have a few different titles. I may have a few different messages packaged all differently, but I promise you at the core of each one of them, it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And I'm excited to be at this year's Faith Conference, but guess what? I'm going to preach Jesus. And if you invite me back next year, I'm going to preach Jesus. And if you bring me on a Sunday, guess what? I'm going to preach Jesus. You ask me to speak to your children, I'm going to speak Jesus. Get me in front of your teenagers, I'm going to speak Jesus. You want me to counsel a couple, I'm going to tell them about Jesus. You bring me a sick person, I'm going to tell them about Jesus. You bring me someone that's broke and hopeless, guess what I'm giving them? I'm giving them the Word, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh, and His name is...
Tonight, I pray that you would lose your natural mind and put on the mind of Christ. There's some of you in here that will not make it if God doesn't perform a miracle. You've come too far to be silent now. You've come too far to be quiet now. There's a praise trapped up on the inside of you that it's time to release. Thy faith made thee whole. Thy praise made thee whole. Thy worship made thee whole. Is there anyone in the house tonight that's decided this is your night? Open up your mouth and give God some glory.